Here we are with Nick again. Nick Jeffers, talk about the special VFR.
What do you want to know about special VFR?
Well, us as fixed wing guys, we don't ever use special VFR.
Okay. Why not?
Cool. Yeah.
So special VFR, obviously, it's Field's IFR.
Yeah.
You guys have a requirement on the fixed wing side of you have to have at least one statute mile of viz. And then on our side,
visibility.
Is that
visibility?
Is it different for helicopters?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Is it half a mile?
I actually don't know off the top of my head what it is for helicopters in particular. I know that they can go with less than a mile though.
Yeah.
So
okay.
And then we also have like LOAs with petroleum to do even like reduced separation than what the book allows us to do without LOAs for helicopters. Mm-hmm. But for you guys, fixed wings, you have to request it. I can't hint at it. I can't say you want something special.
Yeah.
Wait, helicopters don't have to request it?
Well, they have to request it, but they have reduced separation requirements and they have reduced visibility requirements.
Right.
So,
but they still have to ask for it.
They still have to ask. Special VFR always has to be asked for.
That's what I tell my students. You know, if you want to get that special, you just ask for, hey, can I have that special?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it like that. This isn't a McDonald's secret menu. You know, you're driving through.
What's the fries, extra fries with
that little special? Yeah. A little salad special, a little special sauce. Nope. Just say
nope.
If you don't request it, we'll play 20 questions with you, and we'll go back and forth. You know, I want to get my VFR clearance out of the Charlie. Field's IFR, say intentions. Yeah. I want to fly VFR. Field's IFR, say intentions. I want to fly VFR out of the Charlie to the east. Field is IFR, say intentions. I'll do that all day, every day. The way that I understand it is it's a liability thing for the FAA, right? You guys are going to be flying under reduced norms for your guys' weather conditions. They don't want us to suggest something that you may not be comfortable with or knowing what you're taking as a VFR pilot with that risk. So they want you guys to know what that is on your own, know what the risk is, be comfortable with taking that risk because everything in aviation inherently is a risk, right? Yeah. And then get that from us. That way there's no liability where I talk to you into it.
Yeah, not many people know about that.
Do you guys not talk about that?
We do talk about it. We talk about it because we kind of go over it. I do that same scenario with new students, or usually when people are getting their private, I'll do the scenario. So like, say you taxi out to 22 left, and tower will tax you all the way there, and then they'll tell you that it's IFR, and then they'll say state intention. So what do you do next? And I'll go through that whole scenario, and sometimes people will remember special VFR, sometimes they won't. I tell them the same thing, that tower can't solicit it, so you got to request it. And you got to say, hey, can I get that special?
Yeah, like I said, I would tell them, can I request special VFR? That's how I would say
Hopefully they know I'm joking.
For your over 1,000 followers that you're teaching all these pilots around the world how to do this.
Hopefully they know I'm joking. And they're not gonna.
Someone's gonna fly in and be like, "Hi, I'm from Canada. Can I get that special?"
I heard you guys have that special down
special.
Here. And it's not gonna be me working, so
yes,
it's gonna be the wrong guy or girl, and you're gonna be like, "Oh boy, here we go." Yeah, I can give you that special. Here's the number to call.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for our separation then on our side of things for special VFR, right? Essentially, it's going to be 1 in, 1 out of the surface area. So if you want to be special VFR, we have IFR guys, you're the lowest on the totem pole there. So if I have a guy 15 miles out, let's say a regional jet or something, you're holding short because you're not going to get outside the surface area before they enter the surface area. It's either non-radar or visual, and most of the time I can't do visual for special VFR. I can't see far enough. Even with binoculars, little Cessna 5 miles away, 4 miles away, I can't see you. You guys are all white in color for your aircraft, and the sky is usually a gray whitish color that matches you guys all look stealth. Yeah. I can't see you. You're all ghosts.
Yeah, because I think I had that question one time of what if we wanted to do landings or and get the special VFR.
You mean
sometimes we want to practice landing, stay in the pattern.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do local special VFR operations.
But like you said, it's 1 in, 1 out.
Yeah, so as soon as we have an IFR guy, you're on the ground.
Yeah.
Until they are landed or have gone around and they're outside the surface area. Yep, you're on the ground. So it's an incredibly inefficient operation, but it's a safety thing at the end of the day. Yeah. So, and honestly, usually if it's IFR here in the South, it's going to be IFR all around us. You know how those blankets of clouds work down here, and what you doing? You know, the fish spotters, they'll use it all the time to go out there because they're going to be flying low level anyway down there, so they'll just stay at, 800 feet, 700 feet all the way down to the coast and do their thing. But for you guys, that doesn't normally accomplish anything to get outside the Charlie and still be at 700 feet because you're trying to train.
Yeah, we can't do maneuvers that low.
So unless you're trying to just reposition an aircraft for, fuel up at Opelousas or something, it doesn't really benefit you guys to fly at 700 feet for an hour plus and then just fly back in and then hope you can get back in because what if we have other arrivals coming in and you guys are only doing, bless your hearts, 80 to 90 knots for us.
That's fast.
Yeah, it's fast for a single engine, right?
Yes.
But
Fast for our 1960s,
1970s, 1980s.
Sorry.
hey, not a lot of people born in 1960s, 1970s moving that fast.
That's right.
So I'll give you that.
That's right.
So you guys are still scooting, but up against the jets that we're working,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just you're gonna have to wait sometimes. And I don't know. It may not. You guys might be coming in, and there's a jet right, on final. So I'm trying to move you in a spot to where when they land, you'll be right on the edge of the Charlie, and then another jet pops up, and now you're
wait.
behind that, and now you guys are just waiting, and I don't know how long it's going to be because we have traffic coming in. I mean, people will depart Baton Rouge all the time, just repositioning here, and their jets or their IFR, and they have the priority over you guys.
Yeah.
And I can do stuff to try to help you guys in, especially if you guys have like an emergency situation or something, which I think also allows you guys with emergency situations to come in if the visibility is less than a mile, just land. If it's an emergency, we can work with that. But
So declare an emergency?
So you're saying
No, so you're saying
I'm going to get in so
it's
much trouble.
possible. No.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
No, I wouldn't tell anybody to do that. Don't declare an emergency unless you have absolutely have an emergency.
But yeah, so the special VFR, basically, you guys just need to know that you're lowest on the priority. It's going to be 1 in, 1 out, and you're competing against the IFRs.
Yeah.
So if I can get you, I can get you out. When I can get you back in, it's a timing thing. I have no idea. You might have to go somewhere else.
Do y'all have a lot more helicopters use special VFR? I mean, is that because they're more maneuverable than us? So
yeah. So when I got to Lafayette, we had petroleum still being used pretty moderately, and we had a lot more eras, I believe. So like when I was going through like my tower training, how you handled an era rush in and out with other traffic kind of determined where you're at in your training, right? If you could do that, you're pretty set. Now we have reduced era helicopter rush. They moved petroleum to Homa, and they use this more as like a maintenance base now, from my understanding.
Yeah.
So we have less helicopters, and therefore we have less of the petroleums going offshore. So we have less of those special VFR requests.
Okay. Another one that got me thinking about, we were talking about IFRs, that contact approach, which is in the book. We talk about it, but I don't know if anybody ever uses that.
I've seen it used twice.
Twice here in Lafayette? Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's always guys that are super familiar with the area. Like I think like 8 Golf Juliet, those guys.
Yeah.
They used it. I think they're the last ones I saw use it.
Okay.
I didn't even know they knew what it was. So
They probably didn't know what it was.
they requested it.
Yeah.
So I think it also has to be pilot requested.
Yeah,
I didn't come prepared for that one.
I've heard that too. That it's got to be similar. It's similar to the special VFR, and it's got to be.
Yeah. So I would not ever. It doesn't do me any good to try to get you in a contact when I'm taking you out for an ILS anyway.
Yeah.
Like, personally, I just like taking people out for approaches anyway. No one can complain. I know exactly where you're going.
Does that help, like for y'all's certification? Like I know the ASR approaches used to, y'all had to do so many in a month or
yeah, that was for
quarter.
you had to do so many when you were in training, right? That you had to record that you did them, and then for currency you had to do so many like a quarter or a month or something like that. For contact approaches, it's not really a.
Well, any approach. Like if you're vectoring somebody, do y'all have to do so many in a?
Nope, nothing like that.
I mean, here you'd probably be able to get it in, but like if you were working in
for example,
Arizona or something, you may not.
I mean, maybe, but like the VOR-11, we have controller. Well, our latest controller that's certified, Kevin.
Yeah.
He never worked a VOR-11 approach.
Oh.
Ever. When he was going through training.
Wow.
He never even saw it.
Oh, when he was
the approach through tower and through radar.
Really?
Training. Never saw it because it was out the whole time.
Yeah.
So we just got it back, and now he's trying to learn it and try to see how the circle works and how to anticipate that extra spacing that you need for the circle and all that stuff. But he had never seen it, so he's trying to learn it now. He's a good controller, so he's figuring it out. But he's doing a lot of watching other people and watching the scope to see how those other pilots fly when he's not working it to get an understanding of it. But there's no currency requirement for us for RNAVs or ILSs or any type of approach.
Only ASR.
Only ASRs, which we don't currently have.
Yeah.
So trying to get him back. We got a new manager.
That'd be nice.
That's one of his goals is try to bump up our traffic count, make us a higher level. So
yeah. Well, that'd be nice because, I mean, we, the examiner we have asks some questions about ASR, and it'd be nice if we could take some people out to practice the ASRs.
Oh yeah, I mean they're
because the students don't know what we might talk about it, but they don't get the experience of doing one.
Yeah, and every controller is a little bit different. Like I would be willing if it was kind of pre-planned ahead of time, or even just if you're in the air coming inbound, can we get like a modified surveillance approach?
Yeah.
And I mean, I could go over if I have time. I can maybe accommodate something like that where I'm kind of just giving you the lateral guidance. I'm not going to give you the phraseology. I'm not going to give you the descend to your minimum descent altitude, whatever it is. Like I'm not going to do that stuff, but I can give you the vectors if you guys want something like that. But that's a controller by controller basis, workload based, workload permitting. If you guys want some experience like that, I can help you with that. But yeah.
Oh, even if it's not certified?
Yeah, I mean, I can always just give vectors.
Yeah.
If you guys are just VFR looking to come in, can we get a modified ASR approach if you have time? Yeah, I mean, you're going to go out 14 miles. So, I mean, you're basically going to be going out for an approach. So if I can work in, but also you're lowest on the priority. Yeah. So if I can get you in, though, I'd be willing to help you guys out with that a little bit. But I can't say the same I can't expect anybody else to take that kind of like risk, I guess, and that workload, because a lot of people, they don't want to do the extra work if they don't have to. You're asking for that's a very labor intensive approach to do. I mean, for example, you've seen our radar scopes, right? Mm-hmm. So for the surveillance approach, I look to the scope next to me. It's our final scope. I zoom in on that final scope to where it's only about 12 miles instead of the 100 something north to south, whatever it is on my scope that I normally have. And that's how I'm doing the surveillance approach. So I'm looking at another
super
scope.
Focused.
Super focused, super precise, and I'm looking at another scope while I'm looking at my scope.
Yeah. I mean, it really should be broken up into one other person doing it then,
They used to. Yeah. I mean, that's why that scope and that position still exists, but I mean, if we don't have the people available, we're short-staffed. So I'm on 6-day work weeks.
Yeah. So back to the special VFR. We do have we do talk about it like going to Lufkin, because Lufkin's a non-towered airport, but it's got Class E to the surface.
Okay.
So you've got all the controlled airspace requirements of 3 statute miles, 1,000-foot ceiling, all that. With them, you'd have to get your special VFR from Houston Center. And I give people the scenario of like, what if you got a guy, IFR, he's coming into Lufkin and he's not talking to anybody because he's like, he's doing everything he's supposed to, but then he's thinking, oh, well, I'm not going to make a radio call in this non-towered airport because it's IFR. Nobody VFR is flying. And then here you come trying to skirt scud run and not talking to anybody. And then y'all both end up lining up for the same runway, and it's, you get in an accident because you didn't call special VFR or didn't call Houston Center to get that special VFR. It was an accident that could have been prevented if you would have called and got the special VFR, because they wouldn't allow anybody to come in and do, like you said, one in, one out.
Yeah. So I don't know how that particular situation, the FAA we're very unique in the sense that we all know our jobs, but very specifically our specialty is our airspace. So I know how things work in my airspace.
In your airspace.
I don't know how that Houston Center would work.
Yeah.
Special VFR in that situation. And then also to highlight.
I figured the requirements would be the same as far as.
I mean, I would think.
It would be a uniform.
I don't know how much center controllers want to give special VFR clearance.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
But also just to highlight there too, every accident that you talk about or that you read about, almost always there's so many steps that happened incorrectly or mistakes that were made or bad decisions that were made by either one person or various people that led to the event. So really good example there is what you just say, this person doesn't do their job, this person doesn't do their job, and now we have an accident, right? So kind of take something away from that too, that making good decisions, especially being knowledgeable in the decisions you're making, is very, very much recommended, I think, on our side of things too, especially during weather season right now too. Well,
and I get the scenario that, it's a new pilot, doesn't really want to talk to anybody. And so but then they didn't do a good weather briefing. So the weather started getting bad, but they start, and they're maybe getting low on fuel or whatever. So they got to make it to Lufkin or whatever airport that has a Class E. And so they don't want anybody to know. So then they end up, getting into that situation.
Yeah, I mean that's very common. I made bad decisions, and I'm gonna try to supplement my bad decisions with more bad decisions, right? I mean, you see that all the time, not just with the special VFR.
Yeah.
Even just with like pilots flying into weather, pilots that are private pilots, that can't be flying in clouds, getting lost in clouds because they didn't do a weather brief properly, or they didn't talk to people during their training and get the information as to if you do fly into clouds, what to do. I mean, I've told you guys before that the panic calls are scary.
Oh, yeah, people, yes. Yeah.
And you're asking something, not talking to people. You don't have to talk to me, most of the time. Depending on where you're flying, you don't have to talk to me. I get it. However, you are paying taxes regardless of whether or not you talk to me. It does you, I can't imagine any good to fly around, especially in marginal conditions, without already just giving me a call. Now, other places, they're too busy. I get it. Down here, I have never been too busy to give flight following. And even if you just want it through my airspace, I don't want to talk to anybody else. I got some stuff coming up here, and I'd rather just be talking to you guys for a little bit here. That's what I'm there for, man. You're already paying the taxes for me to be at work providing the service. Call me up. Let me help you, because if you get in a situation where you need my help, there are many more steps that we have to accomplish before I can help you, like radar identifying you. If you get in your mode C, that you also have to do in the aircraft. Your workload's going to go up. That we can skip all that when the bad stuff, hits the fan.
Yeah.
So call me and talk to me. That's what I'm there for. This is what I was put on this earth to do, is help you.
Yeah, and thinking about low clouds and low visibility and stuff, and the towers and that kind of thing, like in close to your airspace. What's y'all's range? Is it 20 miles out from the airport?
What do you mean for that?
Well, like y'all's airspace, I guess.
So we have the Class Charlie. Class Charlie, right? It's going to be surface to 4,000, from the center of the airport to 5 miles, and then out to 10 miles, it's 13 to 4,000, right?
Yeah.
So we have that upper shelf. Our actual airspace is our entire radar airspace. So it's an ugly shape that looks like the state of Georgia. And we extend because our outer area for the Class Charlie isn't defined by our local procedure. So we just extend our Class Charlie services to the entire airspace. That's how we do it here at Lafayette. Yeah. Other places might be a little bit different. Like I was up at, I took a class in my CTI school that I went to where we did Pittsburgh's airspace. And it's a nice circle. And they have the very classic like hub and spoke model where people are coming in from corners and going out, and that's a very common airspace. Ours is not shaped like that. It doesn't look like that. No, it is the Wild West. Yes. Everyone comes to us direct the airport, and you just got to make the magic happen. Yeah. So there's no like defined shape that I can give you for what our airspace looks like. I always describe it to people: 10 miles north of Opelousas, Eunice Airport, Crowley Grove Airport, White Lake, 10 miles west of Patterson, and then basically a diagonal line back up to north of Opelousas. That's the best way I can define it.
How far out can they radio y'all?
Depends on their altitude.
Okay.
The higher up, the better range you're going to have with our radios. Like when we get like 10, if you get like 10 miles west of Opelousas, like we have a lot of helicopters that go up that way, like towards like Polk, Army Airfield, even Alexandria, and they won't fly following at 1,000 feet. We're going to lose you 10 west of Opelousas. We don't have the radio coverage up there. Yeah. But if you're 150 miles away, like I get bleed over on my tower frequency for Mobile approach.
Yes, I hear them.
Oh, wow.
I hear them too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a common issue we've complained about.
They have the exact same frequency, I think.
Yeah, Mobile approach is 18.5. Our tower is 18.5.
Great.
I can't hear the approach control, I can't hear the approach controllers, but I can hear all the pilots checking on and responding to stuff. So
that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the radios have good.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Get out my ear. If you hear someone that's not my voice,
It's
do not
not
listen
me.
to them.
Remember this voice.
Yeah, there's actually phraseology for if somebody's transmitting on our frequency. I don't want to give it right now, but yeah. So if our frequency is being interfered with by somebody who's pretending to be air traffic control, I have
Get out of here.
Say, all I can do is say things. I can't do anything about it. I can just tell the pilots, hey,
they're not real.
You know my voice.
So people try to do that?
Yeah, you can look like YouTube videos of people trying to do that at different places and trying to give air traffic control instructions. And
wait, YouTube videos of people?
Yeah, like the recordings and stuff. You can find them on YouTube. Of
It's
people
not like
actually trying
somebody
to do it.
being like, I'm a famous YouTuber and I F with controllers.
I hope not, man.
That,
I mean,
it's like if somebody took a laser and was like, "Hey guys, watch me shoot this laser at this airplane."
Yeah, like hey, chat for for 5 donations. If you guys give me
Just
10
got $100.
subs,
We're using the green one today.
yeah, no.
I might not leave that in there because I don't want to give anyone ideas. Honestly. Ryan, next week we're gonna get on Twitch and we're gonna start live streaming. And,
Okay. And we're gonna, we can.
We'll get one of your students to go up in the air. And we'll
Dude, what a lame Twitch stream! Have you guys ever seen like the plane spotters at like LAX, like their videos where they have like stuff set up and they're just constantly like watching planes land and planes take off.
I've seen videos on YouTube with
and they have like the air traffic communications going to it, ATC live and everything. I've thought about like, what if somebody here tried to start doing that and it's like a plane an hour and they're just like, oh, here he comes! Here he comes! Oh, it's a Cessna! He landed 3 times! Boom, boom, boom.
Yes, that's a good idea.
just sitting there, just like
we can do it off 90 when he's coming into 4.
We got one, guys! We got one! Honestly, for some reason,
you gave us an idea.
That would probably get a stupid amount of views if you could be entertaining during the low times, during the no plane times.
Yeah.
Like if you got like 100 people just sitting there with you doing nothing, and then a plane comes
just
in.
Just the hype of like,
here
comes us! The fish guys are back!
Ryan, one day we're
gonna be doing that.
We're gonna skip a Thursday and we're just gonna sit at the airport.
Sit at the road.
Oh, and we can see some of your check ride students go up.
Yes.
Like, all right, there he goes.
Yeah,
We'll see how he does.
There he goes. He's going up. He did 5 landings there. one touch and go. He hit 5 times.
Like a sports broadcaster.
We know he failed that landing right there.
Oh, that's a crazy one, Ryan. What do you think about that?
That's crazy. What we're gonna
He did one, they're taxiing back. That cannot be a good sign.
Setting up the approach. It's just so stupid. How fast do you think that one was?
You guys just have like a flight radar or like ADSB exchange on like the other side of like the page. Like, all right, we got one coming in here. This one, we got one coming in that's not listed. Oh, it's got to be a military guy. We're laughing, but there are people that do this.
Oh, yes, I know.
Just so we're aware.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to make fun of them. It's just very funny to me that we could do this.
I think it's hilarious.
Here, it would be funny.
Yeah, it would just be completely comical. Now about that special.
That's why I asked how big the airspace is, because people can, even if they're outside of the Class Charlie, they can still receive services up to a certain distance.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Once you get outside the Charlie, I'm going to cut you loose. I don't want to be responsible.
Well, I'm saying if somebody like wanted low visibility, needed help or whatever, in that situation.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, we can. There's definitely stuff we can do in that circumstance. But if you,
I'm talking about somebody just maybe going through the airspace, not really.
Yeah.
Us leaving.
Or
so
like through the Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that. Clear through the Class Charlie surface area. Yeah, we can do that.
Because we were talking about when with low visibility, low clouds, and somebody needing help, or staying low because of all the low clouds and stuff.
So here's one then for you, because I am such a big proponent of stop making bad decision pilots. Like pilots make so many bad decisions, and it drives me crazy, right? So you're talking about like, hey, like they're having weather difficulty, they want to fly through your airspace. Mm-hmm. Hey, maybe land in my airport until the weather passes. That's a really good idea. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 decent airports in my airspace you can go to. Go land until the weather's better, man. Instead of just trying to dodge low-level antennas the whole way. Like, what are you...
Yes.
Why are we doing... Now, like, there's helicopters, obviously, that are on mission, or they're, like, doing, like, medevac stuff. Or the ceiling's at 900. They have 10 miles of viz, and they're like, this is fine. Like, I'm
for
good,
a helicopter, it's more
fine.
maneuverable than an airplane.
And I'll even give it for, like, the fish spotter guys that they're used to flying at low levels. But when you're encountering difficulty like that, like you're talking about...
Yeah, I'm thinking of a private pilot who's not instrument rated, pushing it longer than, the weather's getting bad, so he's... Just
land. I mean, we can give you these clearances and stuff, and I don't mind talking about it, but... Land the plane, man.
Yeah.
Just land the plane. It's we had weather maybe 3 weeks ago, and I had 2 guys going to New Orleans, and I'm painting the weather for them on radar, and I said, hey, if you guys want to, Lafayette is 10 miles off your left side. We're VFR.
Yeah.
I was just outside. It was sunny outside. If you guys want to, this is an option for you guys to just stay here until that weather passes. I don't know when it's going to pass, but it's all extreme precipitation. There's a wall of no-go in front of you here. And both of them diverted to Lafayette until the weather passed 4 hours later and kept going then. Why would you want to keep going?
That's a good decision.
And I told him that. I said that you made a good decision today.
Yeah.
Thank you for making a good decision. Because all you're going to do is you're going to fly into the bad stuff, and now you're in trouble. And I hate to phrase it like this, but I don't know another way to say it. You're making it a controller's problem to try to save your life when there's nothing I can do. I can't control the weather, Jackie.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
There's nothing that I can do for you other than to try to get you out of the situation that you went into.
Yeah.
We're giving you all the information we can give you. You should have done your weather brief, and obviously pop-up stuff happens, but you keep making bad decisions that's going to put you further into bad decision land, which leads to you not flying an airplane again.
Yeah.
So let's make good decisions, and when the weather starts to get bad, let's just land. I like that idea.
People don't. Some people don't think about that.
Yeah, and that's why I always try to mention that to people when I'm working them, because you sometimes just get into that get there-itis.
I gotta get there. I got a meeting.
And now you're not even thinking like, well, this is just pop-up weather. If I just land in 35 minutes, 45 minutes, it could be gone.
Yeah.
Just wait 30 minutes in the air, or land, wait 30 minutes.
So the pilot can make the decision themselves, right?
Yeah.
From my
That's
end,
the whole point, right?
Yeah, the pilots make the decision. All I can do is give you the best information.
Right.
I don't think that you want to delay in the air if you're paying for your own fuel.
Ah, that makes sense.
Fuel's expensive. I know that because pilots will tell me fuel's cheap when they think they're getting delayed, right? Fuel's cheap. All right. Well,
sucks. Yeah. That's why I don't fly.
Yep. I don't make enough money to fly, so I'm aware that fuel's expensive. But also, you're looking at flying another 50 miles just to fly back to land at Lafayette because you're not going to get through the next portion of your flight here.
It's extreme precipitation.
So just save your time, save your money, save your life, and land the plane and wait a little bit.
That's good advice.
And if it gets worse, then you definitely made a good decision. And if it gets better,
go back up.
You made a good decision and you can get to go back up. And we're painting this stuff. You guys have weather radar on board. You know what's in front of you. Even if it's delayed, you still know what's going on in front of you. I hate we're going to get closer to it and make a determination. All right. I mean, and you know what?
I'll see you soon.
The regional guys, the people that are professional pilots that someone else is paying their fuel. Okay. But you're allowed to make the decision as you want. And I don't judge people for the decisions they want to make, but I'm giving you all the information that you need right now to make the good decisions. Yeah. Make the good decision.
It's like you see a tornado and you're like, I'm going to drive closer to it to see which way it's going.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, come on, dude.
Well, depending on what type of plane you're in, if we're talking about small planes, because, that's really what these thunderstorms affect those more than your airliners or your Learjets or your Challengers.
Right.
Because you're so maneuverable, you're so fast, you can climb higher. You can go around this stuff.
Oh, that's true.
You have onboard radar, so
you're going to land and go back up. One of those big ones. Anyway.
You're going to make a different decision in something like that than you are in a Cirrus.
Yeah, even Cirruses are faster than a lot of the people that are flying down here with their private stuff, right? You got a lot of like small single engine aircraft that are doing 80 knots across the ground that sometimes can't outrun this stuff too. or it's building up in a way that it's moving, it's building up. It's going to build up over top of you. And then, this time of year we get the big updrafts, which then can create the downdrafts.
Yeah.
Next, if you're already lower to the ground, you're getting pushed down to the ground, or you're getting pushed into a stall. Like I don't want to see you guys make decisions that affect you. So I always try to err on the safety, or on the side of safety, the side of caution, and talk people into trying to land.
Yeah.
Again, you can fly if you want to fly. You're the one pilot
You're
command.
making that decision.
That is your decision. I come from the different side of my job is safety.
Yeah.
Safe is the first thing of like my job description. Safe, orderly, expeditious flow of traffic, right? Safe. I want you to be safe. If you make the bad decisions while you're talking to me, I still go home at the end of the day and go to bed in my own bed.
Yeah.
And you may not get to do that.
Is this you offering up information, or is this them asking for it?
So we're required to give them the weather information. Like if I see
Without them
precipitation,
asking you?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. But
gotcha.
basic radar service I provide is the weather,
Here are the facts I
precipitation
see.
the precip that I'm painting on the scope, right? I can also call along the line and go, hey, Baton Rouge, how's that weather looking? You guys have anyone get through? And they're going to go, no. Or hey, Lake Charles, anyone getting through this stuff? Nope. Everyone's been diverting. Everyone's going away from it. So I can ask other people that are working airplanes in that area, how's it looking? I take all that information, I give it to the pilot to make the best decision possible. So that's how I do it. I'm not going to say everyone's going to do it that way, but that's how I do it. And again, I want you to be safe. I want you to fly for many, many, many more years. I want your family to see you again. I want all these things for you. I just need you to make the good decisions so it happens.
In my head, it'd be so much easier for a pilot just to say, cool, thanks, and do it. Like unless hard to...
I get cool thanks. And then
nothing.
Yeah, which is, again, it's fine. You can think that I'm just busting you. You can say, well, he's painting an extreme precip, but I can see through that stuff. Okay, I mean, my radar is generally not lying to me about precipitation, right? And it's real time.
And
now, sometimes I've had them call and say there's precipitation, but there's nothing there.
Yeah, so we get with the humidity down here, we get some stuff where we get like light stuff. Now it might be picking up stuff that's not hitting the ground, Virga.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll get primary targets inside some of these cells too, which could be like hail.
Oh.
That's getting the lifting action getting thrown up, and now my radar is detecting the large amounts of hail inside that cell.
Still probably not great for airplanes.
No, it's not great for airplanes.
So you're getting like a light precipitation cell, but you're seeing all these primary targets in it.
Yeah.
And what's going inside that? I don't know everything that's going inside that cell, but they're like, oh, well, it's just light. I'm like, okay, well, maybe not go towards it because that thing could open up anytime here. And yeah, so, and I get it doesn't look like that to me, but if you just turn 10 degrees right for 10 miles and fly an extra, at the end of the day, 2 miles maybe.
Yeah.
To avoid it.
It'd be good. Yeah.
And again, you're good. If you want to go through it. But I'm always going to try to err on the safety of caution for you.
Mm-hmm.
So special VFR stuff, make sure you're familiar with it. Make sure you know what you're asking for. Make sure you know what the risk associated with it. And if there's a visibility component for the special VFR where it's like 2 miles of vis or something.
For us, it's 1 mile. Clear
I'm just saying, like, if we're IFR because of visibility, I would never mess with.
Well, I mean, 1 mile is pretty low.
Yeah.
I mean, for you to go off VFR, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, I would never want somebody to do that. We're 900-foot ceilings. I can see,
like a 10 mile visibility with 900-foot ceilings.
Yeah,
that's not
way
bad.
different.
Yeah.
Way different. And that's one where we understand that one. I think on our side a lot more, but when the weather is just absolutely terrible outside and people are like, I want to get the special VFR.
Yeah.
Why? Like, I can't say no. I can kind of talk you out of it a little bit, but why, dude? Mm-hmm. And it's not me trying to get out of work either. It's just like, why are you putting yourself in this spot? Because you're going to get up in, I've had people, not at Lafayette, but my last place that I was at up in, Pennsylvania, get up in the air and they're 200 feet in the air and they go, hey, we need to land.
Golly. Well, you going to turn around?
Yeah. Like
around the pattern.
Like, and they're like, yep, we don't like this at all. We're going to land.
Put it in reverse.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Reversing the airplane. Yep.
Yeah.
Now the spaceships can do that.
Yeah, the spaceships.
You mean like aliens?
Special VFR, what it is. We talked about what it is, what you're asking for, knowing the risks associated with special VFR. My rules for separation, your rules for your requirements of the 1 mile of vis. What's your cloud requirement for
Clear of clouds.
Just clear of clouds?
Just clear of clouds.
and then just understanding that you're lowest on the priority, so you might have to wait a little while.
Yeah.
The phraseology for us is going to sound a little bit different too,
Across each.
Yeah, so like normal VFR clearance is different phraseology than a special VFR clearance, so be ready to read that back correctly. You'd be clear out of the Class Charlie surface area southeast of the Lafayette Regional Airport, maintain special VFR conditions at or below 2,000, squawk so-and-so, and then I believe I haven't done special VFR in a minute.
Is that usually a clearance from? Is that
it's
from
a clearance
delivery,
Yep.
not from
if you're on the ground?
tower?
If you're on the ground, you're gonna get that with clearance delivery.
Okay.
And then same thing with approach, cleared into the Class Charlie, surface area. And we're going to need you to read that stuff back to us.
Let's say the weather is IFR and somebody calls up clearance delivery. Will y'all start to taxi them even though it's IFR? They call clearance delivery expecting to go VFR. They don't have an IFR clearance flight plan, and they're just going out they're going to taxi out to the runway. Will y'all taxi them, or y'all say no, the field's IFR?
So that's kind of a case-by-case basis. I say that because our weather here changes so quickly. Even for you guys, a couple weeks ago, I had one of your guys' planes go out, and I said, "Hey, you guys are going out VFR. There's a cell of extreme precipitation just south of the field. It's moving northbound. Like it's going to hit us. We're going to be IFR by the time you guys are ready. We'll go out there. We'll do our run up, and we'll see what changes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
If we're socked in November, like we get that fall.
Yeah, that's what I was
time,
thinking of. Yeah, something
I'm not
like that.
taking you out. You should have also on our ATIS, it says contact clearance delivery prior to taxi. So you should have gotten your clearance already. You should know that I'm not going to take you out for a VFR departure that you can't get.
You can't do it anyway.
Yeah, I'm not going to put you in that, because what's going to happen is, inevitably, someone's going to go out. Somehow they're going to get in the air, whether it's by pilot error or controller error on the next person, and the FAA is going to come and go, "Why did you even taxi them?"
Yeah,
and there's no reason that I have for why I did that. I have no excuse for that.
And that's kind of what I was thinking, was like one of those days where it's just low ceiling, maybe visibility's 10, but the clouds are 500 feet or so.
Yeah, I mean, there's like the rare cases where we have rapidly changing weather where I might go, all right, I'll start you guys out there, and then once it's VFR again, which we're anticipating to happen here shortly, because we have Windows 2. We can see
Windows 2? I thought Windows 95 was bad. I'm sorry. I'm on a weird. I know. I didn't get much sleep.
This is terrible
Funny
jokes
story.
here.
I think we actually have Windows 95 for one of our operating systems. So.
Oh, y'all are still working on that.
Well, thanks for the reminder. Appreciate that. Yeah.
30 years ago, still working on Windows.
And it still can't play Oregon Trail. So.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Like you can like
Dysentery
forge the river.
every time.
You cannot go hunting. Don't try to hunt in our stuff. Yeah. Yeah. You
That's
will
what y'all
lose.
sim runs on?
I wish, dude. Can you imagine how much more fun our sims would be if you had to like
If it was
work
just Oregon
traffic
Trail.
while hunt like a deer with the trackball and everything? Like you're just like fly hunting.
So y'all have Windows 2.
We have Windows as well, and we can with the rapidly changing stuff, we can see where holes are. We can see where the weather's coming from a lot of times, especially with this stuff that's this summer where it's just bad clouds, and then behind the bad clouds there's sun. Like I can see the sun. I know that this is going to happen soon.
Yeah,
I might take you out at that point, but you're not going to get launched. Like you'll be told just remain on this frequency. My technique, like I'm not going to let you go over the tower and give them a situation where they say clear for takeoff and they're like, oh crap, why'd you give me this guy?
But why?
Yeah.
Why did you do this to me? Like I didn't realize what you did. So so there might be times where we will do that, but you're going to have a clearance. You're going to already have known what's going on with the situation is, what the plan is. I'm not just going to take you to taxi out without a clearance. I mean, the fish guys go out there without clearances because they're ready to depart immediately.
Right away.
Yeah. So like I'll taxi them. I'll get their clearance in the system, give it to them while they're taxiing, pass the strip, and by the time I pass the strip, hopefully they haven't reached the runway yet. Those guys are ready to lift, on taxi. But pretty much everyone else, you're not going to go out without a clearance. Mm-hmm. So if the weather's bad, stay home.
Stay home.
If you're a small guy or girl.
Yeah. If you don't have instrument rated.
And if you don't have the experience either. If you have the experience, that's very different. Or that even like the knowledge base for what you're doing, just everything that we do in aviation is a risk inherently. It's all risk, right? So we try to mitigate risk as much as possible. When you do things, to make bad decisions, you introduce unnecessary risk. Why do that?
Why?
Don't
do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, I don't understand it. And maybe people in the comments can explain. There might be justifications for a lot of stuff. And I'm not a pilot, right? So I don't know. I just know that I've
That's
dealt
right.
with,
You're not a pilot. They'll do what they want.
You see me flying
I'm the
GTA,
pilot in command.
You know why I'm not a pilot. Okay? Really good at takeoffs.
Bad at
having to eject every time or getting shot down. It's not very good. But if you can explain, what the thought process is, I just see on the other side the bad that's happened. Luckily, somehow, I've been able to be fortunate enough where I haven't worked with the bad, but I know the bad happening. I know of people that have had to have that in their conscious the rest of their careers, that they heard those calls or those yells. And I don't want to see people put themselves in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, I can just picture it's really would be scary because, you can't. You wish you could go up and help them, but all you can do is talk to them.
Yeah, that's all I can do is talk to you. Try to keep you calm. Try to keep you, keep your wings level. Focus on your attitude indicator, and that's all that I got, man. You're the one flying the plane. I don't know how to fly a plane. I can call other people that know how to fly planes, but they also can't really do too much for you either because you're the one that's in the situation, and it's weather. It's out of our control. I can't control the weather, Jackie.
Yeah,
right. It's my favorite line. Oh, the most common problem I have is people not knowing how to ask.
Just not knowing how.
Yeah. Which to me, if you don't know how to ask for it, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
If you're that unfamiliar that you don't know how to ask for it, what are you doing, man? Like there's no reason to be asking for something that you don't know how to even ask for it.
But to ask for it, it's
They may
literally
not even-
can I get the special VFR?
they may not even know that's an option.
Yeah,
Well, that's the problem.
yeah.
I think is
They don't even know that. Like, what is?
Is it anywhere in the world?
The United States?
Anybody that has a tower, you can ask for special VFR.
I don't know.
Are y'all
The
taught
world.
in school?
We
about
don't go
special-
to school for special VFR.
Don't you go to some school in Oklahoma City?
If you get, yeah,
We
but
don't go to school.
listen, man, that's a crash course in like the basics of air traffic, and then you do like a simulator where you learn how to play like a tower game, basically.
Oh,
So we don't learn that the special VFR stuff, VFR on top. We're not taught that stuff. Like you learn.
you got to
that in the
wait
field.
until you get to you.
See a
wherever
real
you-
air traffic controller.
Yeah.
You can see how it's really done.
So what if you ask for it and they don't know what you're talking about?
There should not be ever a situation.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, every controller is going to know what it is. Where I start to get concerned is where you go, hey, can I get what's that thing called? And there's like a pause. Oh yeah, special. Can I get a special clearance?
And that makes you really nervous. I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
it makes me nervous because you're asking for
guy
something
didn't know.
that's more. It's gonna be more risk. I always talk about this. More risk, right?
Yeah.
It's more risky to do special VFR, and if you don't know what it's even called, how do you want me to think that you're familiar with it? Now, I'm not the police, right? I'm not going to sit there. If you ask for it, you ask for it. You're taking the risk on yourself. But there are indicators where I'm like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, the requirements, and like I'm thinking in my head, like, we need to watch this guy now or girl because they seem like they may not know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But it also is possible that they just literally forgot what it's called.
100%. 100%. Why did you ask for? You got the weather. Why didn't you Google that before you asked me?
Yeah.
Everyone has a phone. You can look up the regs on your phone. You can look up the reg before you call me.
Yeah.
And it's now if you're just stutter through it, like because people get nervous talking to controllers. I get it. We're very, very intimidating.
Yes.
Very intimidating.
Scary.
Very scary. I'm a very scary man. My small stature and dainty hands and my 3 cats I have at home. Very scary man. I get like the nervousness of it, but there's a difference that I can tell in someone's voice, or at least I think I can tell, of like, hey, I'm just nervous to talk to air traffic versus I want to do that thing because I want to get out of here. I just don't know what it is. Like there's a very fine line for that where you can just kind of you pick up on that over the years. And people that are nervous sound more like student pilots. People that know what they're talking about kind of fake confidence through it, and yeah, it's just not a good feeling for us when we see someone trying to do something that they maybe shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Do you have any more questions?
No, I'm good.
All right. Do you have any more questions?
No.
Flight tails, woo woo. If you've made it this far, you've listened to the entire episode, and for that, we would just like to say thank you, and we hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about today's episode or suggestions for future episodes, just leave a comment or message us, and we'll do our best to answer. If you'd like to check out some fun aviation videos, check out our YouTube channel at Owens Flight Training. Or if you'd like to get more information on becoming a safe, knowledgeable, and confident pilot, just head over to our website, owensflighttraining.com.